Before Hogwarts, before The Boy Who Lived, J.K. Rowling found herself broke, divorced, and relying on welfare. Imagine this. You've poured your heart into a story only to be rejected by 12 different publishers, each one telling you the same thing. Your book just isn't worth printing. It's a soul-crushing experience, but she refused to quit. And that persistence, that unwavering belief in her creation, gave birth to the most beloved book series of our time. Joanne Rowling's love for stories began in her childhood, but her own life was far from a fairy tale. Her mother battled the relentless progression of multiple sclerosis, and her relationship with her father was strained. Books were her sanctuary, her escape from a harsh reality. After university, Rowling drifted through a series of odd jobs, searching for her place in the world. Then, in 1990, on a delayed train from Manchester to London, a lightning bolt of an idea struck her. A young boy with glasses and a scar, who had no idea he was a wizard. Harry Potter was born. But just as this magical world began to take shape, her real world crumbled. The devastating loss of her mother cast a long shadow over her life. Soon after, her marriage collapsed, leaving her a single mother in a foreign country with no job and very little money. She returned to the UK and settled in a small flat in Edinburgh, where she faced a daily battle with depression and the stigma of relying on government support. In her own words, she felt like the biggest failure she knew. Yet through it all, she held on to that one spark of an idea. Every day she would find a corner in a local cafe, her baby daughter Jessica sleeping peacefully in her pram beside her, and she would write. She poured her pain, her hope, and her imagination onto the page. Even when everything around her screamed failure, she wrote. With the manuscript for the first Harry Potter book finally complete, Rowling began the daunting process of sending it to literary agents and publishers. One by one, the rejection letters started to arrive. The feedback was dismissive, discouraging. The book is too long for children. Fantasy doesn't sell in today's market. We don't think it has commercial potential. One publisher even warned her that there was no money in children's books. 12 publishers, 12 rejections. It's a number that would make most writers give up, to shelve their dream and accept defeat. But Rowling's belief in Harry's world was unshakable. She sent the manuscript out one more time, to a relatively small publisher in London called Bloomsbury. At first, they weren't convinced either. The manuscript landed on the desk of an editor who was hesitant, but he took it home and gave the first chapter to his 8-year-old daughter, Alice. A little while later, she came back to his office, utterly captivated, and begged to know what happened next. It was that simple, pure excitement from one child that convinced Bloomsbury to take a chance on the unknown author. They offered her a small advance and agreed to a very modest initial print run. In June 1997, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was quietly released. The first print run consisted of just 500 hardcover copies, 300 of which were sent to libraries. There was no grand marketing campaign, no fanfare. But then, something truly magical started to happen. The magic wasn't from a wand. It was the power of a great story, spreading by word of mouth. Children were captivated. They told their friends. Teachers read it to their classes and saw a spark of excitement for reading they hadn't seen in years. Parents who read it aloud found themselves just as hooked as their kids. Slowly at first, and then with unstoppable momentum, the book became a phenomenon. Soon, midnight book releases became massive events, with thousands of fans, young and old, queuing for hours in costume, desperate to get their hands on the next installment. The books shattered sales records. The film adaptations that followed turned the series into a global empire worth billions of dollars. But the true legacy of Harry Potter isn't measured in money. J.K. Rowling's words ignited a love for reading in an entire generation, offering a world where friendship, courage, and love could triumph over darkness. She gave millions of children who felt like outsiders a place where they belonged. J.K. Rowling's story is about so much more than magic and wizards. It's a powerful testament to the strength of human resilience. She famously said in a Harvard commencement speech, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." Her incredible journey teaches us profound lessons. It shows us that rejection is not a final verdict on your worth or your dream. It's simply a detour. It proves that struggle doesn't have to mean defeat. It can be the very thing that forges your strength. And it reminds us that sometimes, after a dozen no's, all it takes is one single yes to change everything. So the next time you face a closed door, the next time someone tells you no, the next time you feel like you've hit rock bottom, remember J.K. Rowling. Remember that single mother in a cafe, scribbling away on napkins, with nothing but a dream to keep her warm. Rejection is never the end of your story. Often it's just the beginning of your greatest chapter. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like and subscribe and share it with someone who needs to be reminded to believe in their own magic.